Live from Hollywood, California, VJ Vernon Husky, the Big Vanilla Funnies, Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
I'm here, Dane. Oh, see.
Oh.
This is just fate. How I would sit on the crate, listen to tapes every day at first with the state. Chicks getting raped. My
Is that the We Are the Champions from Dipset? Yeah. Instead of the old Queen, but this is the hip hop version. That's nice.
I got plans.
That's it.
Better than jail. Now look,
We like Bird Parish, Kevin McCass, Scott, Worthy, Jabbar, and Magic. Oh my God, it's magic. Isaiah Dumas, I would carve your casket. Phil Scotty and Mike, Phil Shackett. Oh, stop it. Turn it down. We played it too long, man. VJ's Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Live right now, Spreaker.com, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and on IG, man. That was the We Are the Champions from Dipset off of the Dame Dash mixtape CD that came out a while ago. I like that. That was a nice little surprise right there. That was because normally we play Kanye's Champion. Do you believe that you are champion? Yes, I did. That joint. We normally play that for champions on my show. So got hit with a little something different, man. I am VJ Vernon Husky, the Big Vanilla Funny, the Big Vanilla Shaq, the Creamy Kobe. What am I calling myself nowadays too? Oh, I'm the Big Vanilla seasoning salt. The Big Vanilla seasoning salt, man. Cause like, yo, you sprinkle me on, I go on everything. And if you sprinkle a little bit of me on, you don't need nothing else. Get the grill, the skillet, or the oven ready, man, and we ready to go. So I'm the lawyers, I'm the Big Vanilla lawyers seasoning salt of sports talk and comedy, man. So listen, great playoff series last night, ending up wrapping up the finals, wrapping up the NBA season, 2020-2021 season, man. I got a dope show laid out for you guys today. No special guests. I'll open up the call line in a little while. We're going to talk Giannis. We're going to talk the Bucks. We're going to talk the Suns. We're going to talk Chris Paul. We're going to talk Devin Booker, best player in the game today. Can the Bucks get back next year? Where does this rank with Giannis' finals appearances and finals playoff performances? Closeout games we just did. So I wanted to make mine a little broader because on Fox Sports Radio with Chris Broussard filling in for Rob Parker on The Odd Couple, I actually wanted to talk more broad instead of just closeout games because there's some people that's got some games that weren't closeout games, but they're games that's never been done before. They're games that's never been done before. So it's almost like, hold on, I'm not sure how great this game is opposed to this game or this other closeout game. But what about the game 5 win on the road that such and such had? The game 4 win on the road to put his team up 3-1, or the game 3 on the road to put his team up 3-0. Like Jordan did that. If you guys remember, Jordan, that 95-96 team that beat the Seattle Supersonics, his first full season back after being eliminated the year before by Orlando, you got to remember that year. They swept the Magic. They swept the Heat that had Zoe and Hardaway and Dan Marley and Otis Thorpe. They had a PJ Brown. They had a killer squad. The Heat did. They could never get past the Knicks. The Heat probably should have won a championship before Wade came along. But that Jordan team that swept through the Eastern Conference and got to the finals, people have to remember, they won game 1, I think, by 8. They won game 2 by like 30. They beat the Seattle Seahawks, Supersonics in Chicago Stadium what do they call it where they play now? United Center? Is it still the United Center? They went in game 2 in the United Center. They smashed the Supersonics. Keep saying Seahawks, Supersonics. Embarrassed them. They go to Seattle for game 3 and they jump out on like a 22-8 lead to start the game. And it's like, oh my God, and it was like they were out and running. They were off and running, like they weren't holding on. They weren't waiting to fill the home crowd for Seattle and take the first early punch. They went right at them. Why? Because they got, in my opinion, the 1B killer in NBA history. I think Kobe's the 1A killer because Kobe had to go against so much more within his own team. Jordan never had issues with a teammate that was put out and issues with a coach that was put out like that. Before I go further, man, let me explain the belt for y'all that's watching because y'all keep trying to play my belt. And look how my shing, look how my shit shing though. All right, listen. This belt is this is real black people stuff right here. Let me explain something to y'all, man. This belt was made for me. Someone made this belt for me. It was made by a lady in a village in Africa called Nigadoom. Okay, and her name was Umbatu Umfunfu Mamasama Masay Mamakusa Umfunfu. And she made this for me because she saw my show and she's just like, I love what you do. I want to make a belt for you. I was like, all right, make a belt for me. This is genuine. I know y'all are used to leather and real gold. This is genuine dress shoebox material. Like, this is from a dress shoe. This is from Africa. This is African foil. This ain't Reynolds. This ain't Saran. This is like some Wakanda shit. Like, the village, they don't even, people don't even know it's there. So y'all stop trying to play my belt, man. Giannis got a championship. I'm going to set my belt down. But Giannis got a championship belt, and I got a championship belt, man. So now, all right, enough jokes around, man. On to the finals last night. The Milwaukee Bucks finish off the Phoenix Suns. Booker, Chris Paul, great year. Earlier in the year when I did my NBA preview, I predicted that they would win 50 to 52 games. I just thought Chris Paul did make them better. I'm not a Chris Paul fan. We're going to get into that. Actually, I'm going to bash the living hell out of Chris Paul. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is going to be ugly. Y'all think, and I'm not a LeBron fan. You think I don't like LeBron? You wait till you hear what I got to say about the point God. Like, more like the point, oh my gosh. Like, there's the point God, bury that shit. He is not the point God. I have a list here where I could legitimately, professionally biased, unbiased, radio, TV, podcast, live show, clip, don't matter. I will bury a top 10 point guard list if you have Chris Paul in it. And I will put my list next to it all day long and and player for player, bruh, no. First player in NBA history to lose 2-0 series leads. He's lost 3-1 series leads where he's the leader of the team. He reminds me a lot, like, you talk about Father Time or LeBron. Father Time is catching him. Just watch the game. He always going to hit the mid-range, but he can't flop the way he used to. It starts to really hurt his body, throwing himself around and flopping. That's why he always hurt. It's his own fault. It's like friendly fire. You cut your nose off to spite your face. Now you're uglier. And circumventing the game with the way he plays and stops in front of people and poking his ass. Like, you can get people hit point like he's a dirty player. But we'll get into that. I want to talk good stuff. I want to talk about Giannis. We'll talk about the Milwaukee Bucks and what they've done. Now, we all have talked about the injuries before. We all know there were some injuries here. But this finals kind of felt like, okay, you guys all want to Chris Paul and his Phoenix team when we know there was no AD. LeBron's got Father Time tapping him on his shoulder. He ain't grabbed his shirt yet. I'm not going to go there. But he's tapping on his shoulder like, yeah, bro, get the last thrills. Go post on that post and that block on defense. Don't be trying to guard the best player anymore. That's not you. You've had your run of the best player on the planet. It's just no 36, 37-year-old is the best player on the planet. Your body's been through too much, especially when you come into the league at 18, 19 years old. We have to just let it go. It is what it is. It was hard to let go of Jordan. It was hard to let go of Bird. It was hard to let go for OGs out here in LA. It was hard for them, not Magic or Kareem. It was hard for them to let go of guys like Elgin. I talk to real OGs out here. I have relatives and friends and fans and supporters that are in their 60s and 70s. Like, they love Kobe. They love Shaq, but not as much as they love Kareem and Magic. And they don't love them as much as they love Elgin Baylor. As much as they don't love like a Jamal Wilkes. Like, they'll tell you straight up. There's some other players in that time that they look at and go, listen, man, you guys got it easy these days. Elgin was dropping 60 and 70 when there was no three-point line. And you can grab guys and hold guys. And I mean, it was just a different game. Now, all of a sudden, you got guys that, they scored 40-something points. We celebrated. 40's nothing. Mike did that like 98 times. You know how hard it is to score 98 points? Score 40 or more points like 98 times in a 13-year NBA career? Just find how many people have done it. It's like him, Wilt, Kobe, and then it falls off. I think LeBron could be at 5 or 6 or somewhere like that. I think he scored a substantial amount of 40-point games where he would be up there, but almost 100? I think Wilt's got more than Jordan, but yeah, because Wilt was ridiculous. But it wasn't on my finals list, man, as far as finals performances. So that wraps me back around to Giannis's last night. He finishes up 50 points, 14 boards, 5 blocks. I love the way he goes to Chick-fil-A because Giannis pulled that shit last night. Look what I got, y'all. Because Giannis pulled that last night. That's how touched I was, or how entertaining I thought that was, is that he pulled up and said, I want 50 nuggets. Not 49, not 51. 50 nuggets. Like 50. I dropped a 50 burger to finish off the championship. A lot of people want me to give more props to Chris Middleton, that I'm going to give Chris Middleton, and that I want to give Chris Middleton. I just got finished telling Chris Broussard this. You're not selling me on Chris Middleton. It's not going to be. I'm not being sold on numbers in the finals. Or excuse me, in the finals, 24, 8, and 5 or something like that. I get it. That's what the hell you were supposed to do. But he was still MIA in games 1, 3, 1, 2, 4. I think it was 1, 2, and 4, 1, 2, and 5. He was still kind of MIA in 3 games, and he didn't have a great game in game 6 last night. He hit like 2 or 3 buckets in the fourth quarter. At that point, I mean, at one point he was at 16, 17 points. He had some buckets late to kind of build up to that 24. For majority part of the game, he was MIA. There was a time when Holiday last night was 4 of 19 from the field. Are you freaking kidding me? How the hell are you 4 of 19 from the field? That is horrific shooting, and that's horrific help if you're trying to help a guy like Giannis. But Giannis stayed the course last night. Giannis played within his game. I cringed at the couple 3-pointers he took, and I'm just like, bro, they can't do nothing with you. They can't do nothing with you, man. You are locked in. You're on the board. You're on the paint. Your jump hook's working. The push little floater is working. The fadeaway jumper he hit 2 of those on the left side of the base, and then one up by the wing of the free throw line. 2 fallaways, and the one by the wing of the free throw line I didn't think was going in. It just didn't look like a Giannis shot. Swap. Buckets. I mean, Giannis was just in a zone, and he was just on last night, and he really had to carry them until Middleton hit some late buckets. Remember, it was a 13-point lead, like in Game 5, when the Phoenix went up 16 points and gave it back. They went up 13 early, and it's like, okay, they gave it right back. Phoenix had the lead at some points in the second half. This game was not tucked away and put away and in doubt. Excuse me, not in doubt. It was very still in doubt until about the 3-minute mark. At about the 3-minute mark, you started to go, okay, if the Bucks put a little run together right here, 6-0, 7-1, 7-2, and some stops, game. Series over, championship Bucks, and then that's what they did. Phoenix missed some shots late, some shots they really got good looks late in the game. They just missed them. Van Gundy commented about a come off a pick from a timeout, a wide open 3 that Booker got. Booker normally, man, I bet you that shot's gonna eat at him. That shot's definitely gonna eat at him. And you have Chris Paul kind of spacing out how he scores throughout the game, and the numbers look well, but in a game like that, they both need 30. If you're that guy, I'm going to get us 30 tonight. Now somebody give me 25 and we can get this one. And if that's what them two had have done, they'd have won the game. They'd have won the game by double digits last night. If Booker gets 30 and Chris Paul gets like 26, 27, somebody else gets like 17, they're going to win that game. Quick sidebar, shout out to Portis. It makes his story just that much better when you hear how he was down in the dumps and he wasn't in on a team and he didn't get to go to the bubble with the Knicks and went home with his mom and was depressed and laying on the sofa and shit down. He said, but he got back to working out and got back to this and boom and boom and boom. And you hear that and it's just like, man, it makes that performance he had last night. It makes it mean that much more. That wasn't fake bravado when he's hyped and he's getting excited and he's yelling and he's screaming. Even the foul that wasn't a foul and he runs off down the court. Teeing guys up for that type of shit is so ridiculous in the NBA. We need to stop it. That shit needs to stop. He didn't cuss. He didn't even look at you. He didn't throw nothing. He just down the corner. That's not a foul. I can't believe he called it. And you tee guys up for that because it's showing up the refs. Who the fuck are the refs? We're all supposed to be even killed, man. That's like media, the coaches, the players. None of you guys, nobody's better than the other. We just all have different jobs. And if we respect everybody's job and they respect the emotion that comes with it, without it being smart assy or smart alecky or sassiness type attitude and character back at you, then things pretty go smooth in the sports industry. Another quick sidebar: Deion Sanders at the SWAC media day today, or yesterday, whatever it was, but him walking off like that. No, don't call me Deion. You wouldn't call Nick Saban, and that's such ego because they cut to the clips of SEC media days, and Nick got called Nick by all the media like 9 straight times. Hey, how you doing, Nick? And Nick's just sitting up there like, what happened to us? What happened to us even in sports? I know what happened to us in society, social media, and all this scattered ass. Like Martin said in Bad Boys when they was in the bar looking for one of the shooters or his friend. He said, "Yeah, you focus on all this scattered ass around here." That's what it felt like. No focus. But just his story, man, and just this team, the way they came together, it doesn't make me a fan. It just makes me appreciate the grind. It makes me appreciate the build. And we've lost that in the NBA because everything is, I want to go play with this guy, I want to go play with this guy, I want to go play with that guy, or I want to go play. And it's like, well, if y'all gonna do that, fine, but then just get rid of GMs then. And let's just have meetings with the players, and the players should say who want to be there, who don't want to be there, who want to play with, who don't want to play with. I'm pretty sure you could shuffle the league like a deck and put everybody that wants to play with somebody they'll play with and like or what have you, or some teammate they'll have and deal with. Maybe he's a starting 5. Maybe you shuffle the deck on the starting 5. Wouldn't that be great? Just say, all right, you know what? We're all going in a pool. Everybody gets to pick again. We're going in a free agency pool. We're breaking up all the teams. We're breaking up all the players. It's going to mean more money, more intrigue, more jersey sales, more money for everybody, more merchandise for the fans to go buy. Because now you can't wear that player's jersey because the league got broke up. I know they'll never do it, but God, that would be fun. That would be fun. You know what? We're gonna shake up the league. For you wrestling fans out there, the WWE does this. They call it the draft. And they go through and they redraft the roster. Now, they already know what they're doing. They're going to take a guy that's been on Raw for a while and been running well on Raw and then flip him over to SmackDown so you can take the ratings over there. But they set it up as if they're doing some type of draft, right? And the fans all love it, trying to guess who's going where and this and that. And if you're home on Monday nights and you watch Raw more, you don't get to watch SmackDown more, so you don't get to see that guy. And then they flip it where that guy's been on SmackDown and now you can see him on Raw, vice versa. That would be dope if the league did that. I know they never will, but just for the starting 5. Like, just reshuffle the draft code. Then we can see who's really going number 1, who's really going where guys would end up, who guys would end up playing with, right? Just do that shit if you're going to let the players construct it the way they do. So that's why watching the Bucks last night was a nostalgia feeling, which was weird because it's like I've been watching the NBA all my life. Why do I feel slightly emotional, slightly like, there you go, Giannis. God damn it, that's what life's about. We always say we want this perfect life, and everybody thinks they want this rich and celeb life. I see it now. I'd much rather be rich than famous. I'd much rather be rich, but nobody know about it. Listen, if you're rich, somebody's gonna know about it because you don't live in an apartment. You don't live in a certain neighborhood. Most people, high percentages, would not drive the same car they drive now. You're not gonna live in the same place you live now. You're not gonna wear the same clothes you wear now. Stop it. Most people, yes, you're going to find maybe 1 or 2% of people that become rich that say, no, I'm still going to go shop at T-Mart. I'm still going to go shop at the Rainbow. Like women really back in Connecticut where I live for a while, still going to shop at the Rainbow. That has all your typical pop culture, hip hop type, wear 2 or 3 time type clothes. Once you start running them through the wash machine, they're done. And they got a store like that for men too. You guys all know this. Everybody lives in the neighborhood, lives in the community or in the hood somewhere. You all got these type of stores. You're not going to shop there if you're rich. If you go from 30,000 in your bank account to 30 million in your bank account. That's just not what you spend more when you have more. If that was the case, rich people would just get rich and sit down. Nope, they get rich and they keep investing, they keep moving, and they keep hustling and bustling like they work till they're dead. And then it passes on or just all gets given away or gets sold away or gets blown away, whatever. But there's just something about the hustle and bustle of life and the hustle and bustle of the blue collar people. Everybody that's listening right now, none of my fans are rich. Not unless somebody's listening to me I don't know about that's rich. None of my fans are rich. We're all 9-to-5ers with dreams, and some of us are entrepreneurs, and maybe you got a part-time gig, and we're all parents and dads and moms, and we're all working. We're all looking around our house, maybe wanting something bigger, more comfortable, more spacious, or we're looking at what we're driving and wishing I want a G-Wagon. Like it just hit me like 2 weeks ago. I never looked at a G-Wagon. And I grew up in Benzes all my life because my mom had them all the time. We used to live in Germany. My mom was that type of lady. She wanted to drive a classy car. I've been riding in a Mercedes-Benz since like 79. And that's not a brag or a flex. That's just the truth. My mom, I think some of those Benzes, especially like a C-Class or E-Class, it's a waste of money. If you're going to do it, you just got to go big because the maintenance is going to be the same. It costs all about the same for oil changes and shit like that. You might as well just go ahead and just jump up to the S-Class, man, the big boy, the big joint, if you're going to get one. So anyway, I've always rode in Benz before, but like I want nicer things. I probably would still be a t-shirt jeans kind of guy because it's hot out here in California. And I'm a thick dude and thick dudes get hot real fast. So I don't need a bunch of layers and a bunch of fresh shirts and stuff that I'm gonna sweat out at the barbecue. Throw me that vest and t-shirt. Let me put these fatigue shorts on. Let me throw these all white Air Forces in a fitted. Give me a little cool towel. Throw my watch and my chain on and grab my kids and let's roll. We out. That's how I'm going. I'm not going to the mall to buy a fresh polo shirt. I'm going to sweat the hell out that damn polo. A collar all up on my neck at the cookout out here? No, thank you. And where's the shade at? And where's the cooler where the bottled water is? I'm about to suck down like 5 bottles of this joint to keep my insides cool to keep the sweating down. You're going to live differently if you're rich. But that's not like what the Bucks are. They are that blue-collar team that we all are. The Pistons, they were that blue-collar team we all are. There's a lot of that in sports, man. We love the underdog story. We love the poor kid coming up from nothing. He was poor. He was the players that have dads that are famous are the ones that we don't think are going to make it at all. What's your incentive for grinding so hard? That's just life. Let's get real. What's your incentive for grinding so hard? You grew up with a private driver, a home chef, because your dad played in the league for 13 years. You didn't grow up hardcore. Where's the drive for you? Like, name the son that was better than the dad of our era. Maybe some sons were better from dads from the 60s and 70s, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a pro athlete today who is better than his father. Is Randy Moss' son, and we all know who he is, played at LSU, caught 2 touchdown passes in the national championship game. Is he close to his dad? Is Joe Montana's son close to him? Is Deion Sanders' kids close to him? Is Michael Jordan's kids close to him? I know y'all love LeBron and y'all want to do LeBron's the best at everything in the life and the history of the galaxy, of the solar system, of life. Other than God, it's like I know for some of you guys there's God and then LeBron. I get it. I really do. That's what sports does to people. That's fine. But do you guys really think Bronny's going to be LeBron? Y'all really think Bronny's he's already had knee surgery. That kid's not LeBron. He's not his dad. Trust me. I've seen him play. He's not his dad. He plays right out here at Sierra Canyon. It's literally 15 minutes from my house. We tried to get those games on the Vesta Network so I could call him. They had Kenyon Martin's son. This was like 2 years ago. They had Kenyon Martin's son. They had Scottie Pippen's son on that team. I was trying to call those games. So I've seen him. He's not his dad. That's not to say he's not good, but LeBron's one of the things he wants to stay around the league long enough to play on the team with his son. Yeah, your son, are you picking him? You must be just picking him and putting him on the team, but that's going to hurt him because then it's just pure nepotism, and we hate that in sports. Lonzo can play. Melo can play. Jello can't. First of all, his fucking name's Jello. That's like being named Puddin'. Puddin' is, I don't even like when black families call a black little girl in the neighborhood Puddin'. Puddin' like a snacky pack cup, that nasty shit. That's almost as worse as Ladybug. Don't call me bug shit. Roach, bug, spider. I'm good on insect nicknames. But we love the struggle, man. We love the blue collar champion that comes up, and that's what the Milwaukee Bucks are. And there's no better example than Giannis. The humility, the way that he actually trolled back to everybody, but in kind of in a very, not in your, like a classy way. I hate to say it like that because I guess trolling always has a little asshole to it, and that's fine. But it was almost like you guys threw all of this at me. Like you said, I can hit my free throws. Look at tonight. I hit my free throws. That was the Chris Paul for everybody expecting him to miss. Even he's expecting to miss. Really? All right, I'll just go 17 for 19. I'll go 17 for 19 and put a 50 burger on your head. Send your ass out of here and start the people like VJ, Vernon Husky, the Big Vanilla Funny saying, I told y'all about Chris Paul. I've been telling people about Chris Paul since Wake Forest, but I haven't been in radio that long. A lot of barbershop discussions about Chris Paul, man, when he's at Wake Forest. We'll get to it. But Giannis, the Bucks, I still don't believe in Middleton. Middleton hit some shots late last night, and he needed to. He was supposed to. That's what you're supposed to do, and nobody needed that more than Giannis did at that point. So at the end of the day, in my opinion, he was doing his job. At some point, you have to do your job. He was still MIA in 3 of those games. There was actually talk that people actually were saying that he could make a case for MVP. I'm sorry, man, but y'all know who I'm talking about. 2 of the most ridiculous basketball takes for a guy that's supposed to be a basketball guy in the last 2 weeks. Devin Booker's the next Kobe Bryant. I'm saying it right now. That's what? Really? Chris Middleton can make a case for Finals MVP. Really? Are you kidding me? Giannis gave us 42, 41, and 50, and here comes my son. Oh, nah, he's straight. It's all good. My son, listen, if you guys hear a baby crying, just respect my gangster, man. I was on radio for 3 hours. I'm coming home and do radio, but that don't mean my family, stop. Come here, pimpin'. So radio, I have to apologize. You guys don't get a chance to see him. But we have not seen each other all day because I was in training all day virtually. And me and my man are tight. We are stupid tight. We are stupid tight. And we haven't really seen each other today. So he just crawled out the bedroom just now. And he came out here. Look at him. Show your muscles, man. Show everybody on StreamYard and everybody on IG. Look how buff my son is already, man. Look at his muscles. So we talking about the game last night. You stayed up. You watched the game with us last night. You was chilling with Daddy and Mommy watching the game last night. But when Chris Middleton, I still have him as a good player. He's not a superstar. There was a question on the show today of who did the finals do more for? Did it elevate Middleton more, or did it elevate who you think? Middleton or Booker? Did it elevate Booker more, or did it elevate Middleton or more? And my answer was neither, because I don't think Booker's a superstar. I think he's a star, but I don't think he's a superstar. He could get buckets, and I give him that. He had a 70-point game. That's cool. But this is an era in basketball and an era in the league where a lot of guys can score because you can't touch anybody on defense. Everybody switches on the pick and roll. Nobody fights over. If you look at the finals, the series changed when they put Holiday on CP3 and demanded he fight over screens to stay on him. When you watch 80% of the offensive plays and sets in the NBA today, it's all high pick and roll, and they'll do it 3 and 4 times until they get the matchup up they want. I'm watching the game and I'm like, why the hell does NBA professional teams play like this? If I'm the coach, I'm like, dog, fight through every pick. You work on it. You practice it. You get physical guys that'll fight through the pick. We never saw this much switching in the 90s. And that's why I go back and I look at some of those playoff games and people go, oh, they scored mad points back then. No, they not. No, they didn't. Excuse me. There were Knicks and Bulls, Pacers and Bulls games and series. The finals between the Jazz and Chicago. There were games that were 79-84, 89-86, 91-80. Like, they were deep because they got in your ass from the jump. And they played defense. They fought over picks. Everything is really given to you offensively. That's how guys are going to be able to play in this era till like they're 38, 39, 40. And still be like, oh, he's 38, he's dropping 23 a game. You can't touch anybody. And you can create all the contact you want. The officiating is as horrible as it's been in the last 20 years, in my opinion, in the NBA. Everything is subjective, and they got to go review everything, and you can flop your way to getting somebody a flagrant one. You can't play that way, and you can't officiate that way. And I think a guy like Booker benefits from that. So I don't have him as a superstar. I didn't have him as a superstar all year long. Anybody that follows me here, anybody that follows me on social media, anybody that listens to the show, you guys, this is repetitive. I've said this before. But I'm picking up new listeners all the time and new watchers all the time, so I have to keep kind of going back and reiterating so people understand that I'm not just saying it now. This has been my mindset. This has been my mindset for a while about Devin Booker. He's a star. He's not a superstar. Chris Middleton's not a star. He's a good player. And we had off-the-cuff legend on the show on Fox Sports Radio earlier tonight, and I told him that. I'd never met the guy, my first time ever talking to him, but I know he's a trainer, and I know he's deep in the hot gyms and training a lot of young players that, come onto the league and go play big-time D1 basketball, but that wasn't going to make me back down from, my opinion about the disagreement we were having, because Middleton, he's a star. No, the hell he's not. If anything, He's a 2B option. He's definitely not a 1 or a 1B option. And he's barely a 2A option. Drew Holiday should be the second option on that team. Middleton would fit in great if he stayed with his career numbers of 17, 6, and 4. That's kind of where I see him at. Yes, you can have a 40-point game. That was one of the points that off the cuff made to me was, you don't score a 40-point game in the finals and not be and just be a good player. Why not? You can score today. You can't touch nobody. Yeah, the hell you can't have one night. You mean one night makes you a superstar? Is Chris Middleton a superstar to you guys? You got to be kidding me. Come on. So my answer to that question was neither one. I don't think neither one of them elevated themselves. I still view them both for exactly who they are. I always say in sports, we have to let coaches, owners, GMs, and players be who they are. We can't try to make them into what we want them to be for our narrative and our benefit. We have to stop doing that. We do that all the time. Certain players are just who they are, even when it comes to greatness. But it's more prevalent, with middle of the road guys and guys that people want them to be this mega superstar. And it's just like, dude, that's just not him. That's not who he is. Middleton's one of those guys. Booker is a star because he can just go get buckets and he can lead a team. Last year, people forget how well they played in the bubble. Their narrative to pump Chris Paul up was they didn't make it to the playoffs in 10 years. They get Chris Paul and they get to the playoffs. Yeah, they get Chris Paul and they add him to Devin Booker. And Chris Paul's always been added to somebody. When he first came into the league, he was a young player. He wasn't carrying the Hornets to the playoffs. He wasn't carrying the Hornets to playoff wins. He had to wait till he got some other players like everybody else does. So this series was all Giannis. Giannis dragged and carried his team. And then thank God for Portis. And like I said before, hearing his story, it now makes his play look that much better to me. Like, okay, so it's not just some guy out here trying to get his 15 minutes of fame. And, he only played like 20-something minutes last night and had 17 points. Middleton had 17 points to like the 4 or 5 minute mark, and he played like 41 minutes. So he's not, you can't start making guys out to be who they are. And I know that Portis isn't a superstar. Last night didn't make him a superstar. He's a good player. He's a good role player. And last night he needed to be good, and he was. You got to remember, he's one of the top 3-point shooters in the regular season. It wasn't a fluke. People have to stop watching just the playoffs and hearing these narratives or seeing a guy for 2 or 3 games or a series of 2 and then drawing a conclusion. If you haven't watched the regular season, you haven't watched much of basketball and kept up with it. It's like whenever I meet people that say, I don't really watch the NBA, I just watch the playoffs. I don't want to talk basketball with you. That's part of my sports talk arrogance, I guess. I think we all have it. Trust me, the deeper I get in this profession, the more I find out that a lot of guys on certain levels, they don't talk. They'll do their shows, but they don't go to the sports bar and try to start up conversations with sports. I've been with certain high-name guys, and you can notice people recognize who they are, and they're looking at them, and they want to say something. And if they come over and start casual talk, I've seen them engage, but it's not like an outgoing thing because most people they're irrational. Fan is short for fanatic, and you never want to try to have a decent to very enjoyable or even getting educated or schooling somebody. I don't mind somebody teaching me something or me taking a piece of what you say and say, okay, I don't agree with you, but you make a case for this or you make a case for that. Cameron, my son, he hungry as hell. he going to eat right. Y'all hear my son? He talking shit. Hey man, watch your mouth. Y'all heard my son talking to me? Hey, boy. I just like mess with. I like getting him hyped up. He's a baby. He's only like 19 months. That's my guy, man. But Booker, Middleton, to me, they're right there where they are. Giannis's performance last night, where does it stand up? That's something else that I wanted to. Let me get back in the studio here. I'm sorry. Excuse me on radio. I think I kicked myself out of the at a studio live here as, oh, there we go, I'm back. Sorry about that. I kicked myself out of the damn studio here on YouTube and StreamYard. So where does Giannis' playoff performance last night stand with the great playoff performances in the history of the NBA Finals? Now, I didn't want to do down to elimination game because I thought there were some really good playoff performances that I think deserve a lot of credit. We know Jordan's got some. I think AI's 0-1 against the Lakers, 41 shots, but 48 points, 5 boards, 6 assists, and 5 steals with the step back baseline, the look down on current Clipper coach Ty Lue, stepping over him with them little chicken legs and jogging back up the court. Still in game 1 after the Lakers had swept Portland, swept the Kings, Portland, and I forget the third team that they swept in that playoff run. But they had a 10-day rest. And the Sixers were battling through the Eastern Conference in the semifinals and went to a game 7 in the conference finals, and that's AI with a hand up to his ear as the clock's ticking down and they know they going to the finals. Like that was super signature for Allen Iverson. Won MVP that year, and then Shaq won it the year before. So yeah, last year's MVP going up against this year's MVP, and just a great performance. Now they end up losing that series in 5. I think people forget how dominant Kobe was too. Shaq had Dikembe Mutombo. There's just no matchup. He's just bigger and stronger. He can just do more to Dikembe. And people thought that Dikembe was doing a lot of flopping. That's when Shaq's famous, call me, treat me like Sega, play me. Like, play me. Don't stop the flopping and all that. But, I mean, what are you going to do? Mutombo was, I don't want to say on the downhill because he won Defensive Player of the Year. That Sixer team, too, also what made that finals performance and run special. Coach of the Year, Larry Brown. Sixth Man of the Year, Aaron McKee. MVP, Allen Iverson. Defensive Player of the Year, Dikembe Mutombo. Like, that team was a very good team. So to go against Kobe and Shaq, even with the 10 days off, I like that performance with AI, but it's not over Giannis. Another playoff performance that I like, put a Laker team up 3-2, and you think they're going to win this championship. 1962, I already mentioned and talked about him. Elgin Baylor had a 61-22 game. Let me say that again. Elgin Baylor in 62 for the Lakers against the Celtics in the finals had a 61-22 game. He's the only player in NBA history to have a 60-point NBA finals game. He's the only guy. Kobe, Jordan, Will, Like, that was surprise. Will they have a 60-point game in the finals? That's okay. That's what you said, but I would just think there would have been one snuck in there with all the scoring he was doing. I mean, we're talking about a man who once had a 50-25 season in 1961. What? I don't care who you're playing against. Half of y'all can't do that on a high school team right now. Half of the grown adults right now couldn't go back to a high school team in the condition and shape you in now, playing against kids, not even like top-ranked kids. Playing the average high school in your area, you couldn't average 50-25 in a season. And they're only playing 26, 27 games. That's how impressive that really is. But I was like, wow, Wilt doesn't have one? So that was surprising. But it was a game that also put the Lakers up 3-2. You think that series is over. The Lakers come back, win Game 6, and then also win Game 7. And that will lead me to my next finals appearance. Was in that 62 finals in that Game 7, Bill Russell, who the finals MVP trophy is now named after. Had a 30-40 game. 30 points, 40 boards. That's coming off of a game that Elgin had 2 games prior, 61-22. Could you imagine being a fan watching those two guys go at it in an NBA Finals? 2 of the top 20 players of all time. And yes, Wilt and Elgin Baylor are 2 of the top 20 players of all time. I know some people that would put Elgin Baylor, excuse me. It's been a long day, guys. I'm actually really, really tired. I I tried to drink like a quadruple espresso. It's right there on the counter. I actually tried to drink a quadruple espresso before I came into the Vanilla Sports Talk Batcave. And the Mary Jane and the vodka ginger ale and the Tito's ginger ale and Chick-fil-A lemonade is keeping me alive right now. It's keeping me afloat. And I still have studying to do. So my night's not done. And I want to go for about another hour. I'm just hyped to talk, man, off of the blessings I've been receiving. But when you look back at that Game 7 finals clinching game, and that was a clinching game, 30-40, that's got to be up there. I know people want to say, well, before the merger or before this or before that. I'm going to say, nah, man, the hell with all of that. We're going to do it. We just going to do it off of the finals appearances, period. Closeout games or regular games. So those three, AI, Elgin, Russell, cool. There was another clinching game that give a lot of credit. Was a great clinching game. Was almost a quadruple double and would have been the only quadruple double in the history of the NBA Finals. And that was Tim Duncan's 2003 Game 6 clincher against the New Jersey Nets. The Nets got swept by the Lakers, but they took the Spurs to 6. Tim Duncan closed that game out with 21, 20, 10, and 8. 21, 20, 10, and 8. That's a crazy stat line for closeout games. Because not only did you do 21 to help the offense, you got 20 boards. I don't know. It didn't say how many were offensive, or I couldn't find it. I didn't take the time to look for it. 20 boards. That's Windex work. 10 blocks. That's get this shit out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's get that out of here all night long. 10 assists, and 10 blocks. 8 blocks. 10 assists, 8 blocks to go along with 21 and 20 for a closeout game, for a championship. That's pretty impressive too. We all know about Magic 1980 Finals Game 6. Kareem can't go. 47 minutes, 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. That one falls down the list for me. We had a few callers in today said that that's number 1 for them and would be number 2 behind Giannis's game last night. That falls down the list for me because Jamal Wilkes game 37 and 10 and 42 minutes. So he had tremendous help. He didn't go out there and just carry a team and carry that squad just completely and fully by himself. He had help in doing that and getting that win over the Philadelphia 76ers with Julius Erving, and they're going to win the championship in '83. So Julius and the Sixers, they got their chip. They got their revenge back on the Lakers. They beat the Lakers in the finals. That's the whole rock the cradle. That's the whole rock the cradle highlight that you guys always see for Julius Erving in the finals. So they bounced back, and they got that one. Michael Jordan, just pick one, right? Just pick one. You pick the flu game. It's not a closeout game, but the flu game is classic. 38, 7, and 5 when you just feel like you're going to die. You just can't keep anything down all day. You have a fever. Your stomach is turning. You had to, do number 2 at halftime and all of that. We saw the documentary. We know what was going on, Mike. But if you also look at that playoff series against the Suns where he averaged 41, 8, and 6, where Mike, that's why his retirement was so just mind-blowing and mind-boggling, because he's coming off one of the best three-peat runs of all time, had been done since the early 50s and 60s Celtics, had been done since them. Magic never did it. Bird never did it. Nobody before him had did it. And the only team to do it since him is Kobe and Shaq. Are the only ones that three-peat. So when you look at that playoff series, if you remember, at Game 4, wasn't a closeout game, but in Game 4, he had 55. Like, Mike went off that night. And that was sandwiched in between 44, 41, and 42. So even though the closeout game wasn't as impressive as the 55, you have 55 sandwiched around 3 other 40-point games. That 55 game turned that series around. That 55 game, locked that shit up. So, man, it's hard. And then, of course, the flu game. The flu game, the 45 points, the hold the pose, which we know now he didn't hold it for show, or Bob Costas at the time. And he holds the pose as to say, is this the last time that we see Michael Jordan? If that's the last shot we ever see Michael Jordan take, and then we find out in The Last Dance, once he's back up in the hotel and he's got the cigar in his mouth and he's playing and sitting at the piano drinking cognac, he's like, I didn't. He's like, I held it because my shots was short. I was losing my legs. My shots were short in the fourth quarter. We thought this is this iconic, hold the pose. Y'all take all the pictures, yeah. This how y'all gonna remember me, I'm out. Or some John Elway shit, right? But that would have been, maybe that's about the same time. Yeah, that's about the same time as John Elway. John Elway is 98. Yeah, that's 98. It's about the same time. So, but yeah, I'm doing this on some John Elway shit. Hold the pose on you guys. We know he comes back and play for the Wizards. That's just Mike wanting to play, man. Nobody takes that shit seriously unless you're a pom-pom pusher for LeBron. I told this guy the other day, man, he had his tongue so far up LeBron's ass, he could taste his breakfast. That was petty and mean, but I meant every word. I meant every damn word. Every damn word. But, the flu game and then the 45-point closeout game 6, the three-pointer, the possession before that, the fast break layup, and the steal on Malone, and then down to the shot. I mean, he scored their last 8, I believe it was, their last 6 or last 8 to close the game out. So he was sitting at 30, what, he was sitting at 37? Sitting at 37, scored the last 8, ended up with 45, and then the rest is just history. I still think that's 1A, and this Giannis performance, to me, could be 1B, and I think there's another Jordan performance that's 2, or 3 before I get to Magic, with his 42, 15, and 7, and because he got so much help from Jamal Wilkes with 37 and 10. If you look at what Giannis got, man, I hope this rewrites like the help that you need and the super. I loved it. He said, I wanted to do it here. I wanted to do it. I could go to another team. I could go to another team in a super team. I could go to, no, I'm not going to put nobody on the spot. I could go to another team and just a super team and just do my part and win a championship. But no, I wanted to do it here. I wanted to do it like this. It was just something. It was something about that. All you entrepreneurs out there last night, you had to feel that. Yeah, I could go team up here. I can go get a job at this network, or I can go to get a job at this movie lot. I'm talking about my industry now. I can go get a job here. I can go to a job here. But I know some people that are just, independent filmmakers. And that's what they do. They want to do it themselves. They want to win it themselves. They want to go get it themselves. I know people in the sports talk industry. We would all probably take a job at certain networks to boost ourselves. But I know people that would take a job and then just sit and just stay there and be there for as long as they could and never make any moves. There's some of us that are like, yeah, I'll take it, but it'd be just the build. Now they treat me right, pay me right, give me the big enough stage and a big enough platform. Yeah, I'm cool like I can take care of my family. I can still do my thing. I'm not tied to where I just can't do shit else. But at that point, at the end of the day, then, yeah, I'll take it. It is what it is. Play the game. Monopoly, right? Somebody get the car. Somebody get the boot. Somebody get the top hat. I hope the new Monopoly, they should put a marijuana leaf in there. Somebody should be a bong, the marijuana leaf, even a joint, like a little stand with like a joint sitting on it, and you just slide the joint. You slide the joint around. Not a blunt. That's not a joint. Because everybody smokes a joint. It's only certain demographics that smoke a blunt. It's the same thing. What are you back there smoking those blunts? Smoking those trees? It's like, no, man, I'm puffing the ganja. White dudes know that one. Yeah, dude, the ganja, man. Yeah, it's all about the ganja, man. It's from Earth, man. You gotta smoke, dude. Don't listen to the government, man. The government, they're crazy. They smoke too, dude. Like, that's messed up how they took all your cousins and stuff, man. And, threw them away in fucking cages, man. They call it prison over the weed, man. It's all about the weed, bro. I have white friends in California who talk and act just like that. Trust me, I'm dead serious, and they're not fun. I have a surfer friend who's a personal trainer. He makes his own edibles. And I asked him, I said, how do you do it, man? These are good. He gave me some cookies. He gave me a bag of them. He gave me some cookies. And I was like, dude, how do you do it? These are amazing. He's like, it's all about the butter, bro. It's all about the butter. I was like, butter? I didn't know what the hell. But I was like, what, parquet? Motherfucker? Like, what butter are you talking? The way they make grind the weed and cook it down into the butter. And you let it sit and get hard. And then you put the butter in everything that you're going to make. And the butter spreads around all on. They were amazing. Best edibles I've ever had in my life. When you only can eat half a cookie, or you should only eat half a cookie, then it's good, and it lasts for a good 7-8 hours. All right, enough of VJs on Sportsmanlike Conduct. Marijuana 101. They need to legalize it across the platform, man. Maybe somebody missed the Olympics. Well, she missed the Olympics because she broke the rule, but they probably need to revisit that rule. So, finals NBA performances. I'm still giving it to Jordan in Game 6 with the 45. 1A. Giannis can have 1B. For number 2, I think I'm going to go to Jordan's Game 4 55-point game. I'm just, that's just too impressive. Wrapped around 3 40-point games, 40-plus point games. Then I'll go Magic at 4 and AI at 5. Those will be as far as closeouts go. I really do want to sneak Duncan up there because 21, 20, 10, and 8 is just so impressive. But, I mean, AI, the way he did it in LA against Kobe and Shaq, and, you know, I don't want to say he's by himself, but he took 41 shots that night. So, one many other dudes. I think he was 18 of 41. And, it's, you know, it's not a bad percentage, but 48 points. And he almost would have had a 50 burger. But, I mean, and then after the game, they interviewed him and talked about when they put Ty Lue on and why, you know, the defense kind of picked up, you know, what was the problem. He's like, he's holding me, man. I know defense, he's holding me. I was like, oh, AI was real with it. So, those are my final performances. Moving on, because I don't want to stay on the same stuff too long. Let's talk Chris freaking Paul. Oh, my gosh. When you talk about a guy who is as overrated, and somebody else said something to me today, so I don't want to take this like it's mine, but it's a phrase that I don't want to take and use as being an asshole or being a know-it-all over a fan or somebody like that. But in this business, there are trained eyes. And there are untrained eyes. Untrained eyes use their ears too much. They listen to what people say in the narratives that's driven instead of what your eyes see. I always tell people, don't fail the eye test. Believe what you see. In your boyfriend, believe what you see. In your girlfriend, believe what you see. Husband, wife, friends, supporters, boss, manager, supervisor, co-worker, underling, the security guard, whatever you see. Believe what your eyes see. They always say, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. When they're showing you, you're seeing it, believe them. We always want to, that's a lot of media manipulation, irresponsible journalism, as I like to call it. It's irresponsible. A lot of journalists know what they're doing. A lot of networks know. All the networks know what they're doing. It's irresponsible, though, because you know you're driving a narrative. And you know if you just repeat it and 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 repeat. Oh, take a break. Oh, no, come back. Repeat. La, 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 la. If I start singing an old song right now, and every time in the show I stop and I go, it's my prerogative. All right, so the NBA, it's my prerogative. All right, guys, so training camp's going to start in a few days. There's already pictures floating around. It's my prerogative. When the show's over, you know what you're going to remember most? You're going to remember, it's my prerogative. Because I kept saying it, and I kept feeding it to you. And that's what happens in sports. It's the same as media. I tell people all the time, sports is borderline politics. People say, I don't like politics with my sports. Sports is damn near politics now. What the hell are you talking about? Politics on voting. Some people have like votes for MVP and vote. It's all narrative driven. You watch a TV show host that's got a vote for NBA MVP. It's like, why the hell do they have a vote? Why do they have a vote when we sit on TV and we hear the narrative that they push every day so we know where their vote's leaning? Somebody's going to lose a vote. Somebody's going to lose some money. This year, big stories about like Jason Tatum missing out on $30 million because somebody didn't vote him all NBA. Who the hell looked at this season and didn't think that he was one of the top 15 players in the league? There's 3 teams, 5 times 3. Math, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children. Math. It cost that man not 3, Not 13, $30 million, which is like another player's salary for their career. Some people's salary for a season. Because someone that has a show didn't think or maybe doesn't like the team he plays for. Listen, another thing about this business I'm learning, and that I kind of knew, but I wanted to get in it and see for myself. This shit's almost like NBA officiating. People they're human. They can't hide their feelings a lot of times. They act like they can, but they can't. And you can see it in their talk, and you can see it in their articles, and you can see it in the way that they broadcast, and the way that they share their opinions. You can see it all day. Chris Paul is one of those guys that the media has taught the untrained eyes that he's this point god, that he's this great player, that he's one of the top point guards, top 5 possibly of all time. Oh, after they get past the Kawhi Leonard-less Clippers, all of a sudden, he's better than Steph Curry. He's better than Dame Lillard. He's better than Isaiah Thomas. What the fuck? Are you serious? Isaiah Thomas? You mean finals MVP, 2-time champion, 29-point third quarter in the game 5 against game 6, against the LA Lakers in the form in Los Angeles in front of the stars and all the celebrities under the lights? Are you kidding me? He's better than all of a sudden because they beat the Lakers with LeBron, Father Time, tugging on his jersey, tapping on the shoulder at least. AD out, groins, feelings, emotions. Chris Broussard and I agreed today that he wasn't mentally there. Something's going on. I made a joke. I said, yeah, it's the LeBron effect. That LeBron wears on you. Kyrie Irving tried to warn us. Wade put up with it because it's like, fine, it's the end of my run anyway. Let me get some rings. Bosh will put up with it because Roger's like, I ain't got no rings, so fine. And I ain't going to get nothing else after this shit. He's out of the league after that. There's some health issues with the blood clots and stuff, but we don't even think about Chris Bosh. He's an afterthought. Somebody hit me and disagree. He's an afterthought in the NBA. And he's got 2 championships and was the third piece of the Heatles. And was a all-star and an Olympian before the Heatles were put together. So he wasn't no scrub. He wasn't the bottom of the dish pan water. You ever do the dishes and you go to pour the water out? You ever look at the bottom with like what's left when you get to like the last bit of water pouring out? Some players are that. He ain't soggy food particles. Some players are soggy food particles. That you're at the bottom. You're at the bottom of the dish pan. But when you look at Chris Paul, man, you talk about a guy who's a front runner, a flopper, a dirty player, circumvents the game with the way he plays, his dirtiness, stopping in front of players, poking his butt out. He's going to blow somebody's knee out one day or take somebody out at the hip. And somebody's going to get a hip pointer, get a damn hip bruise and can't play for 2 weeks because of that corny shit he does. He's hit players in the nuts multiple times. It's nothing new. He's kicked up towards nuts multiple times. Nothing new. That's why he and won't really step and do nothing. He let Rondo punk him. And I don't know what kind of person Rondo is, but I know if I'm Chris Paul, I'm standing up to Rajon Rondo. I'm not letting Rajon say he spit on him, whatever the case was, but he threw a punch and they got to scrap it. Chris ain't getting no licks off. He ain't getting no you know what I'm saying? He ain't getting none of them off. He's got a bad reputation among NBA players. Go to YouTube and listen to what Kenyon Martin said, why current players don't like Chris Paul. Go YouTube DeMarcus Boogie Cousins and watch the video where he talks about, you don't hear that type of talk about every player in the league or just really other players in the league. It's kind of a thing that's kind of kept to itself if the media drags it out. Somebody wants to share it, normally over teammates leaving and shit like that, like Russell, like Westbrook and Durant. They weren't cool anymore because Russell felt like he had a deal or an agreement for Durant. He was staying. And then it announced that he was leaving. And I guess Russell Westbrook was giving some type of party to someone when they got the news or when the news broke. But when you think about Chris Paul, and the way players feel about him, and his reputation around the league, and his media. Remember, he took shots at Violet Palmer, the black female official, the first black female official in NBA history. But he and I don't really aim to call another man sexist, but they weren't flattering comments or flattering the way he came about it. He ain't never said another ref, and we all know that he hates the guy. I forget his name, the guy who refed the game last night, who they're 2-15 when he refs his game and make it now 2-16 when he refs his game. He ain't never come out and be like, yeah, maybe this ain't for him. But for him to be, yeah, maybe this, I don't know, maybe this ain't for her. That shows character. It does. When you make little comments like that, it shows character. Even though it's petty, even the free throw comments about Giannis, but it's more assholey because it's like, bro, you're down right now 3-2. This ain't the time to be petty and say no bullshit like that. But that's his character. He's a front runner. When he's out in front, it looks all good and it's all smiles, and he can point to Billy Crystal and be like, that's family, man. And he can hug Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne looks horrible. Y'all saw him at the Western Conference Finals when he came through the rope and gave him a big hug. Lil Wayne looks horrible. You talk about somebody that's totally taken to the corporate America side and want to act like he didn't. But man, oh God, like if that man, I don't care what kind of money he got, and he walk into your house with your daughter, nigga, you burn the house down. That's like finding a spider's nest. I find a spider's nest in my house. We gotta move. We gotta go. And burn this shit down to the ground. We'll start all over again. But Chris Paul knows how to look, how to look innocent and smile for the cameras. Remember, he was the instigator in the whole Houston Rockets Clippers backdoor access to locker room confrontation, where he showed them where the back door or back entrance was. It showed them how to get in. That says a lot about your character. It says a ton about your character that you do that to your former teammates and former place where you were and that's why the whole coordination in LA was so fake to me. And it just looked like they were acting like they won the championship. It's like, yo, dog, y'all didn't win the championship. You just got to the finals. You ain't win it yet. And I came on the air the next day and I said they celebrated as if they won it all. And I'm always very cautioned by that when I see that. When I see teams that they celebrate like this was it. And I got some point guards here that I would tell you that I would put in front of him. Western Conference Finals is a cakewalk. 16th year, hurt again. No AD, no Murray, no Kawhi. He was hurt again him damn self. This is just a weird finals and a weird Western Conference playoffs he got to and the team got to. And he got way more credit than I thought. Optics will tell you. I did a show last week. My opening rant was about optics. The optics will tell you, or the optics will make it look like he's the guy. And I'm telling you right now, he's not. He's got the numbers that he can circumvent. He's got the numbers that they can put up and guys go, oh yeah, it's easy to get numbers. Like I said, everybody gets numbers. He's a 6-time steals champ. Chris and I went back and forth today about that doesn't make you a great defender. So I can look at this and go, well, those 6-time steals champion, that make him a great defender, even though he's 5th in steals. Man, that part's real in his game. That you can't cheat. You can't cheat a mid-range. And he's a mid-range king. Guys like him, Ray Allen, Rip Hamilton, who else had a great? Mitch Richmond had a great mid-range jumper for a guard. Great pull-up jumper. Penny Hardaway had a great pump fake, run him off the three-point line, fine. Dribble in, 1, 2, 3, up, pull up, buckets. Dribble threes, turn around, post you, step back, spin. Tracy McGrady had a really good mid-range. Kobe had a really good mid-range jumper. But these guys are mid-range like kings, like Rip Hamilton. He was the mid-range god. Nobody can hit mid-range shot like him. He's got that. 10-time All-NBA. I can't argue that. Once again, that's voted by certain people in the media. That's voted by certain criteria. That's fine. I'm not going to argue against that. 4-time assist champ. Already said he can assist. His career numbers are 18, 4, and 9. He basically could be at 10 assists a night. That would only be 2 off of Magic. Magic was 12 a night. 47% from the field, 37% from the 3, 84% free throw shooter. He could play basketball. That's not my argument. 9-time All-D. So you're telling me he's a great defender, no problem. But durability. Blown 2-3-1 leads as the leader of a team. He missed 101 games as a Clipper. And missed 48 as a Rocket. He can't stay on the. He's soft. He's fragile. He can't stay on the court. He's 5th in assists. And that once again, you can't hide that. 10,275, 10th all time. 5th all time. You can't hide that. I get that. But durability, once again, he's only played 80 or 82 games in his 16-year career only 3 times. The best ability in sports is availability. He's not available sometimes. And I think, once again, he cheats the game with the way he plays and being the flopper and the dirty player that he is. The push on Giannis on the lob the other night, how is that not called? And that's just a dangerous play. Both hands out, just an immediate shove. At that point, you got to just, that's game anyway. If you pushing him, you could have got the flagrant 1. They could have got the free throw plus the 2 free throw, the flagrant free throw, the 2 free throws, and the ball. So they could have got 3-point play right there, either or, and still got the ball. They had another 3. That's a 6-possession play. 6 point possession. I told you guys I'm tired. That's a 6-point possession. He knows how to really cheat the game and set the game up, and the numbers will pop up, and it's easy to get numbers, man. It really is. And I'll respect where your place is sometimes with numbers. Like I said, his assists 5th all time, I can't debate that. That's assists are, that's not, you can't cheat the game running a great pick and roll and dumping the ball to somebody, throwing a lob. I mean, my fault, I can't blame him for having Tyson Chandler, a young Tyson Chandler to throw lobs to, a young DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin to throw lobs to, and now a young DeAndre Ayton to throw lobs to. I can't fault him for that. So that part of it, I'm not going to pick apart or try to bang. But as a winner, as a leader, as a top 10, my top 10, Nash, 16, 4, and 7, defensive player of the year, 9 all defensive. That ties Chris Paul. 9 all NBA. That's only 1 less. He was a still champs too. But his durability, he played 80 to 82 games, started and played 10 times in his career. Nash at 9, 2-time MVP. 14, 3, and 9 is underwhelming, but we know what kind of effect he had. And he was almost close to a 50, 40, 90 career. 90 from the free throw line. 49 from the field goals, and 43% from 3. Number 8, I got Kuzi. 7, I got AI. 27, 4, and 6. One always a great 3-point shooter, and I didn't know AI was under 80% from the line. You would think AI, if I told you guess AI's free throw percentage, most people would have been like, oh, he's probably about 84, 83%. No, he was 78. He missed his share. He missed his share of free throws. Maybe just hit the clutch ones, and those are the ones that we remember. But MVP, 3-time still champ, 4-time scoring champ, 7-time All NBA, and 11-time All Star, 10th in assists. I just think that's phenomenal for the career he had for his size. Jason Kidd at number 6, 5-time assist champ. His career too. He's only 13, 6, and 9 career, but 10 times another player 10 times started at the point guard position, 80 to 82 games. Went to 3 finals. Went to 3 finals. 4. Went to 4 finals. He went twice with the Nets, and he went, 3, and he went once with the Mavs. So he went to his share of finals, and then he ran into Kobe and Shaq and the Spurs, and those other 2 finals appearances are trying to even come out of the West. But it was, his career was a grind. Once again, all it's available. Oh, by the way, number 2 in steals all time, 2684. Number 2 in assists all time, 1291. Big O at number 5 as far as point guards go. Triple-double machine, 6-time assist champ, 11-time All-NBA. That beats out Chris Paul's 10. 26, 9, and 8, and 9. That beat out all Chris Paul numbers, and they're tied in assists. 7th in assists. He's 13th in points. John Stockton, number 4 overall, 9-time assist champ. Another low average as far as his 13, 3, and 10, but 10 dimes. 51% from the field, 38% from 3, 83% from the line. He shot better across the board percentage-wise, other than free throws. Free throws was 84 to 83. But number 1 in assists and number 1 in steals in the history of the game. Steals, 3,265. That's a lot of pockets picked. He should be in prison with that many pockets picked. Number 3, 9th in assists, 17 in steals, Isaiah Thomas. We talked about him already. The 2 championships, the finals MVP, the assist championship, 2-time All-Star game, 5-time All-NBA, and 19-4 and 9 guy. Yeah, almost 20 points a night, but those 9 assists, they're right there with Chris Paul's 9. 45 from the field, 30 from the 3, 75 from the free throw line. He was another one that I thought was a much better free throw shooter. than turned out on paper when you're doing the research. Number 2, I got Steph, 3 chips, 2-time scoring champ, steals, 2-time MVP, 24, 5, and 6, 48 from the line, 43 from 3, 90. He's got a chance to finish with a 90, 50, 40 career. He's got to shoot better on the field goal percentage overall. He's at 48%. He could gain 2%. That'd be phenomenal. But right now, I got him sitting at number 2 all time as far as point guards go. And yeah, I put him over Isaiah. And Zeke is my guy. But Zeke didn't change the game. Steph changed the game with his shooting, and he changed the game with just the way the point guard position is looked at. Like, very rarely does a player come in and affect another position other than their own. Unless it's football and it's receiver corner. Because if you could get bigger, more dominant receivers sooner or later, it affects how people look at corner, and it affects the corner position. That's what Steph Curry did. He affected not just the point guard and the shooting. He affected now how you use big men. And Steph Curry has run centers out of the league. True centers out of the league. They're gone. They're nowhere to be found. We want Embiid to take his ass inside. What does he do? Shoot threes. And then, of course, number 1, Magic Johnson. There's no surprise there. 6 all-time in assists, 22nd in steals, 5 championships, 3 MVPs, 3 finals MVPs, 4-time assist champ, 2-time steals champ, 27 and 11, 52% from the field, and a great free throw shooter at 858% from the charity stripe. Who you taking out to put in Chris Paul? And I'll give you Walt Frazier, too. 18, 6, and 6. Honorable mention, not in the top 10, 49%. They didn't have 3-point line back then, 80% from the free throw line. 2 championships, 7-time all defense, and 6-time all NBA. Who you taking out? Even if you move Walt Frazier down, it's still out of the top 10. Better than Payton? No. Better than Nash? No. Better than Bob Cousy? No. Better than AI? No. Better than Kidd? No. Better than O? No. Better than Stockton? No. Zeke? No. Steph? No. Magic? Hell no. Zeke, Steph, and Magic? Hell no. Might give me an argument with Stockton, but he's not going to jump Big O. He's not jumping Kidd. He's not jumping Nash. Gary Payton might have a ring. He ran into a guy named Michael Jordan. They fought and fought and fought. They had their years of getting eliminated earlier. Do you remember when they lost to Denver in the first round? Mutombo, LaFonso Ellis, Bison Dealey, who was at that time, Brian Williams, Robert Pack, the high flyer point guard with crazy bunnies. He had crazy kangaroo skills. Boing, boing, he was bouncy. That kid can leap for a little guy. They eliminated, y'all remember the kid Mutombo laying on the ground, holding the basketball in Seattle. That's when the first round was only 5 games. It was best of 5. They went in there in game 3 in overtime and won that game. Seattle had the best record in the league that year. They won like 62, 61 games and got eliminated. So Payton and those supersonic teams, they worked their way through. They got up there. Payton got them to the finals. They overcame Utah, overcame the Spurs and David Robinson, overcame Akeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets, overcame those teams. But he ran into Michael Jordan. I mean, there's no fault running into Michael Jordan. And he ran into the Mike that was coming off of getting eliminated, coming off of being retired playing baseball. He ran into the Mike that worked year round to get back. He ran into the Mike that brought guys into the gym, flew him out to L.A. onto the set of Space Jam so they could work out with him. He could get running, lift weights, and get running at night so he could pick everybody's game apart. Basically, there's some guys in the league that helped get Jordan ready to come dominate for 3 more years. Shame on you. Or maybe shame on me because I don't see the beauty in you just saying, well, this is going to help the game, man. It's going to help us all. I mean, shit, my team ain't winning it anyway. I mean, they had some good players come out there and play. Weber went out there and play. Reggie Miller went out there and play. Sean Bradley went out there and played. Sean Bradley was in a movie, but Sean Bradley wasn't no guy that was taking nobody to no championship. So it's like, I might as well go out here and hang with some great ballers and play ball with some great ballers instead of what I'm dealing with my franchise. Make a movie, make some money, right? Always be attached to the Michael Jordan lore forever. I was in Space Jam. I'm attached to Jordan lore forever. So Payton had to run up against that. Nash had to run up against everything. AI, we know the story there. Kidd got a ring. Big O got a ring. Stockton had to run into Jordan. Zeke got 2, Steph got 3, Magic got 5. I mean, if you look at my top 3, that's 10 rings. My top 3 point guards have 10 rings. My top 5 have 11. They were just winners. Winners get to do what they want. You just a bag of bones. That's my. I watched Talladega Nights the other night. But Chris Paul. You talking about one of the most overrated guys, man, in the history of this game, and trained eyes watch him play. Chris Paul's got Father Time knocking on him too. Stories broke today that he's looking to maybe opt out of the $42 million, make himself a free agent, make himself a free agent, and stories of the Lakers have interest and want to get him now. The Lakers have interest in Westbrook. Come on, man. Chris Paul is done. Chris Paul will never be the same player again. He ain't been that player in about 2-3 seasons. We talk about how much we love James Harden. He was playing with James Harden. He was playing with him. They were up 3-1. His body just has this mechanism in him that just tells him when to be hurt. Or his body has this mechanism in him that knows really, really big. And he can't do shit about it, and his body's just going to break down or just fail him. Chris Paul's not a top 10 point guard of all time. He's a sneaky, dirty-ass little player. And he always has been. And he cheats the game. He circumvents the game for calls that could be in an injuring way. Like, you can injure people the way he do it. People say Reggie Miller stuck his foot out. Didn't really injure nobody. That was never going to do anything to anybody. James Harden kind of just bumps it to you, throws his body around, flail his arms and stuff. James Harden doesn't, do the things that Chris Paul does to cheat the game. Never been a fan. And it was part of me watching him walk off last night. I didn't feel sorry for him at all. Even Devin Booker standing there with his hands on his hips looking around and just saying, damn, we were right there. Damn. I got to go back and do all this work again to try to come back and get here. And that's all going to hinge on what Chris Paul does, man. But overrated, always have been. I'm glad that people are starting to see just truly, truly, truly what Chris Paul is. And I'm telling y'all, he's not a top 10, man. Moving on to Giannis's comments about super team and doing it himself, I love that too. And once again, it wasn't a jab at anybody. It was a jab at just the system and the way guys and Americans. If anything, man, it was more, you guys want everything so easy here. I came up hard. You guys love to talk about these American guys. I came up hard. I mean, these guys were in the street as a street vendor, just trying to make some money to help their family out when I was a kid, being a street vendor. How many of you guys can say that? Even the ones that came out in the hood, came up in the hood, and came up in bad circumstances, what society would deem as bad environment and bad circumstances. And just some normal people, they ain't just society. I can go over to somebody else and tell if the circumstances is cool or if there's some shit going on over here. I could do that. And I don't need no degree, no job, and no badge. I don't need the police with me neither. I can just walk in, look around, hang out for a minute, listen to how the house talks and acts and responds. It's like, oh yeah, there's some shit over here. Damn, there's some shit over here. A Calgon, take me away. But super team versus, I call now this is the grind gang, man. The grind gang team that grinds and comes up and sticks together and goes through the losses and all the bad talk and just improves and gets better. And listen, I once again, I don't want to talk about the injuries, but they also could have just laid it down too and gave it to the Nets. They fought the Nets tooth and nail. I saw a meme today that said Durant really took the Bucks took this Durant team to 7 games. It took 7 games. Like, dude, listen. Kyrie played game 1, got hurt in game 2. Durant was going to beat Durant. Durant's good enough to get you 3 wins. You don't think that? You don't think Durant's good enough to go out and get you 3 wins? And that's how you get to a 7th game. It's not like the Bucks took them there. It's just kind of just where it went because who was playing and who wasn't. But you can leave that out of it and just judge it for what was there. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at, just seeing it for what it is. I understand guy got injured. Last year I had a beef with it because it was a 4-month break. I'm not going to change my opinion on that. A 4-month break, and you want me to think that this is a real championship? That's like the Dodgers 60-game World Series championship. You got to be kidding me. 60 games? They didn't play over 100 games. That's like the equivalent of 4 NFL games opposed to the 16. Would you tell me that was a real champion? My man Ak is in the building. What's up, Playboy? That's my man right there. Fellow stand-up comedian. Yo, man, I hollered at Lotto. We coming back in the spring, baby. Be ready. Big show this time. Big show. But I just want to read his comments. He's got Magic, Isaiah, Curry, his top 3 hands down. Exactly. I'm with you on that. Those are the top 3 point guards of all time. Hands down. It's not close. And he's agreeing with me. He's saying that Chris Paul's done. He's a Hall of Famer and he's retired now. Yes, he's a Hall of Famer because that's just how we put guys in by their numbers. He's not a Hall of Famer for his accomplishments, though. He's a Hall of Famer by his numbers. And I hate that. I hate that a guy that's 18, 4, and 9. The shooting percentages are good. I like the shooting percentages, but 80 to 82 games only 3 times in his career. Opposed, Peyton, 10. Who else had a longevity? Oh, Jason Kidd, 10 times. John Stockton. Oh, there was another one I didn't name about John Stockton. John Stockton, 80 or 82 games started 12 times. That's 9 more years than Chris. That's 9 more years than Chris Paul, guys. Come on. That's 9 more times than Chris Paul suited up. 80 to 82 games started in his career. He can't be above him. He's not available enough. And like I said, I'll stick with that top 10. My top 10 is not going to change for a while. And I think it's super solid. Stockton's number 1 in steals and assists. He's got to be in the top 5. But he's going to be behind Zeke, Steph, and Magic. So that puts him at 4. You have to respect the 49% shoot percentage and the triple-double machine of Big O and his NBA championship back then, and the simple fact that he's top 15 in both assists and scoring. 7th in assists, 13th in points. He's got to be up there. Let's go to Jason Kidd. Where do you fit him? He's got to be in there. 2nd in steals, 2nd in assists, all time. The man's got over 12,000 assists. 2,600, almost 2,700 steals. He's got to be up there. Oh, by the way, 80 to 82 games started, 10 times in his career. 7 more times than Chris Paul. And his percentages, I don't mind either. 80% from the line, which was surprising, but 35% from 3. Remember, when he first came into the league, they called him Ace and Kid. And if you said, why do you call him Ace and Kid? They said, because he has no J. Ha! You guys get it, right? That was the running joke about Jason Kidd. He couldn't shoot. So his shooting percentages, I believe, suffer because earlier in his career, it wasn't his thing. He had to grow into that. And like I say, even on the honorable mention list, I still might have Walt Frazier in front of Chris Paul. I get the numbers. I really do. But when you have trained eyes to really watch the game and really see it from different angles and away from being a fan, you're allowed to be good. Some of the most critical sports are journalists, guys. They're sports writers. I'm not a sports writer. I'm a broadcast sports journalist. I'm not a sports writer. I write articles from time to time on my own page on the Medium that gets read by the public, get some comments. Some people like them, some people don't. I just like writing. My writing composition, my English composition classes in school right now, those are some of my favorite classes. My journalism, public speaking, all of that stuff, man, that ties psychology and philosophy around public speaking and making presentations and speeches, because it goes back to the Romans, right? It goes back to Socrates and Plato and Aristotle. And then all the way until today, the way you do it in public speaking and motivational speakers and world leaders and country leaders, because they have to speak in public. That was a fun-ass course to take. I learned so much. I learned so much about that. We're some of the hardcore fans and most critical people are sports writers, sports broadcast journalists, sports media, radio personalities. We're the harshest. Especially when you get my age and you've been around and you've been doing it for so long, you just can't pass it off like it's, everything is so great. That's why Giannis's finals appearance and finals stats and the way he played this series was phenomenal. I can't mark it past 98 Jordan, though. Somebody texted me when I was on Fox Sports Radio today with Chris Broussard, and they said, "Are you just saying that because it's Jordan?" And I just simply typed back, "No." Now, if you want me to explain, come on the show and I'll explain it. But no, that's not because it's Jordan. That's just how I'm really viewing it and look at it. I always tell people this. You really want to learn how to judge sports? Watch games on mute. Watch games on mute. Don't hear the commentators. Don't listen to the crowd. Just watch games on mute and let your eyes tell you who's the better people on the court, field, or baseball diamond, or ice rink, or soccer pitch. Just turn the volume down. No fans, no whistles, no officiating, no side noise, and just watch the game. Over time, watch how you start to view. Watch how you start to view the game. I was also asked, is Chris Paul should stay in Phoenix or both to the Lakers? How about this? I don't give a shit what Chris Paul does. So enough about Chris Paul. I want to talk about best in the world right now. That was a great topic today, too. We didn't get a chance to touch on it as deep as I wanted it to go. So I'll go kind of quick on this here soon. Best players in the world today, in my opinion, it's four guys. And I think the discussion, and I'm all for it because it's my industry and it helps us out, and I'm here for it. And let's go, because it gives us something to talk about in this great banner. Because there's a lot of people that have a point nowadays. For so long, best player in the league was one guy, two guys. That was it. When Jordan played, there was just no... Jordan was the best player in the league before he won a championship, and everybody knew it. By 87, 88, everybody knew that Michael Jordan was the best player in basketball. Everybody knew it. By 87, 88, there was no question Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Air Jordan, was the best player in basketball. And everybody knew it. But right now, I think it's as open as a discussion as it's been in a while, in a long time. And it's fun. I got Giannis, KD, Kawhi if he's healthy, and Steph. No, I don't have LeBron. And I explained that on Fox Sports Radio earlier today. It's not to say LeBron still ain't a great player. You said best in the world. I can't call a guy best in the world that's saving his body and pacing himself by parking himself down on the lower block 70 to 75% of the game. And kind of D'ing up when his guys got the ball in the net. Just go back and watch once again. Turn the volume down and just watch the game. And watch where he stands in most 70% of the game. Doesn't move a lot on defense. But we all know, sorry for that on radio. TV can see me, but sorry for that on radio. I had to take a drink. I'm getting cotton mouth. Because, once again, I'm really, really sleepy. And I've been talking basically for 5 hours today. But LeBron, if you just watch the games without the volume on, watch where he stands. He posts up a lot on defense. So we'll move off of that. So he's not in my four that I think can have a legitimate argument without it being biased. Giannis, KD, Leonard, Steph. I still would give the edge to KD. I know people wanted to be Giannis because he won the championship, won the MVP. Now he's a multi-MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA Finals champion. The only other person to do that in the league, in the history of the NBA, the aforementioned Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Now, I know people are posting this one meme with Akeem Olajuwon. That's MVP, Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. But multiple MVPs, Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, there's only two. Greek Freak, Air Jordan. Mighty Air, the Black Cat. Mike, MJ. You know what I'm saying? Money Mike. Mars Blackman. It's got to be the shoes. Those are my commercials back then. It was pretty cool to see Spike Lee do all the pregame stuff, too. It was cool to watch him direct as he's acting, too. I love that. Cut. Roll film, quiet outside, and action. And would just go into it while he was being, while he was acting. That takes time. That's how I want to do my films. The ones that I want to direct. I want to do them just like Spike Lee. Spike's the man. But best in the world, I think KD, better shooter than Giannis, better ball handler than Giannis. Giannis probably is more freakish and athletic.
KD's got 2 championships. Giannis got 1. KD has the Finals MVP. Also has a regular season MVP. Doesn't have the Defensive Player of the Year. He's a much better scorer. He can shoot and score. I think Giannis is maybe a more skilled acrobatic scorer. Kevin Durant is just a sniper. That's why his Easy Money Sniper is his Twitter handle, right? Easy Money Sniper, man. His sniper is easy money. He's making easy money in the league. Ain't gotta do a lot if you're Kevin Durant yet. Foot wingspan that can handle like a guard and shoot like a guard. Couldn't do more than like 6 on the bench press or 8, whatever it was, 7, whatever it was, at the combine. And people like me was like, well, he ain't gonna be bench pressing nothing in the NBA. So I don't even know why they make guys do that in the NBA. I'm not sure what is the bench. Can anybody find that out for me? What does the bench press do for players in basketball? Like, if you want to be all big and buff and Karl Malone and Shaq and have that girth and that size, yeah, maybe that. What does my man Akeem say here? He says, fuck Giannis and boom out Middleton. Middleton is not easy on the eyes. Let's just say he got a funny mouth and face and head and hairline. He just he one of them dudes is like, he looks like one of those guys where he can't breathe out his nose. That's why his mouth is always open. If he closes his mouth, he's got to have his mouth open. He's got to unbite. He's got to kind of have his mouth open like that. That's how Middleton. And I'm not trying to clown. I'm clowning, but I'm not being serious. I'm not trying to, talk shit about the man. He's a champion now. But it's more because of Giannis. I think Kawhi, if he's healthy, can still be in the discussion. Then you got Steph. What Steph did this past year, this is the year Steph was going to get exposed. Steph, he's going to find out what it's like. Yeah, and they didn't make the playoffs. They made it to the playing game. Didn't get it done against the Lakers. He did his job, but, Looney was hurt. Weissman got hurt. No Clay. They're working these young players in. The Kelly Oubre move, that didn't work. Alibre, how you say homeboy name? Either or whatever, however you pronounce his last name. No disrespect to the brother. I'll try to fix it and figure it out. That move didn't pan out. Not what they thought it was going to be. Kelly Alubre? Somebody find that for me, please. I don't want to be accused of messing up somebody's name on purpose and making fun of somebody and thinking, and then Alubre, what is it? Akeem, Kelly Oubre, whatever. The move didn't work. And Steph, all he did was runner up in the MVP voting. Like you had no choice but to vote for him. And I wouldn't surprise me if he won it, man. If more people to vote for him, it was by a landslide for Jokic. People just thought Joker had a better year. But I always tell people, my best player can't be my most unathletic guy. I'll say that again, real slow, so you get what I'm saying. My best player in basketball cannot be one of my most unathletic guys. Like, my best player can't be Bill Laimbeer. It's got to be Isaiah or Dumars, somebody that can move a little quicker, a little more fleet in the foot, more athletic, can jump higher than 2 feet off the ground. Sidebar, shout out to Bill Laimbeer because he was really the first stretch 4. Bill Laimbeer used to take that little hop step and his release from up here and bang that 3 for Detroit. He was one of the first, if not the first true stretch 4 in the league. He could step out and hit that shot. And back then, no guys that were 6'10 and 6'11 was stepping out to take a 3. Now, every 6'10 guy in the league shoots 3-pointers. There's not a 6'10 guy in the league. I'd have to think really hard to find a guy who's 6'10 in the league today that doesn't take 3-pointers. I couldn't do it right now. My brain is done. So, but that would be amazing to find out. But anyway, Steph Curry, he did what people didn't think he can do. And to finish second behind Joker was phenomenal. But I'm not sure I can say he's better than Durant. I'm not sure I can make him play the best player on the planet. Pound for pound, I could say it and debate it and argue it. I'm just not sure how right I would be. It feels more like Kevin Durant, Giannis, Steph, and then everybody else. I even gave AD honorable mention if he's healthy and focused. You can't deny what AD does on both ends of the court. offense and defense. He was all defensive first team last year. People thought he should have won defensive player of the year. And then we already know he's an all NBA first team player because of his offense at 26, 27 a night. We know he can get 11 boards, 12 boards a night. He's an 84, 85% free throw shooter. Like AD, once again, it's the LeBron syndrome. We forget how good guys are when they go play with LeBron, because when they're saving the day, it's not a problem. But once they get to the finals and they win, it was all LeBron. And if they lose, then it was the other player's fault. We've become accustomed to that. So then we disrespect and we unappreciate what is standing right in front of us. With AD, my only beef is the year before you became a Laker, you were in New Orleans. You guys had just eliminated the Portland Trail Blazers in a sweep, and they had the higher seed over you guys. You won game 1 in Portland, won game 2 in Portland, came home, closed out in game 3 and 4. I know because I was in New Orleans at the time on vacation when they closed out. So I was in the city. I was walking up and down Canal. I was feeling that energy they had going out there. Hotel was about 10 minutes from the stadium. You could damn near hear the crowds. We're this real high-class hotel coming out of the restaurant that's attached to the hotel and went to the bar. The game is on. I mean, it's packed. People are around enjoying this in this classy, upscale atmosphere and situation and establishment. We're watching the game, and I'm like, damn, they really about to sweep these dudes and close them out. And they were the 6 seed. A 6 taking out the 3 in the sweep. Everything was fine. LeBron looked around the league, found somebody he can easily manipulate. Go back to New Orleans, act mad, fire your agent, hire Rich Paul, and then just sign with Clutch, and we're going to get you to the Lakers. And you come play with me, and, oh, sounds great. You want to get out of there, cool, but there's a lot that comes with playing with LeBron. And I never thought he was going to be strong enough to handle all of it. They got lucky with the 4-month break last year. I'm telling you guys, man. And you guys are going to see it. And if they think they're going to do a sign-in trade and give up all these pieces and bring in a Westbrook, because Westbrook wants to come play home, and you got a guy, now you're all crowded, and you guys don't have no shooters. The paint, it's going to be 30 people in the damn paint. You said you need shooters. Why are you giving away your shooters? I think it's worth just coming back and seeing if everybody's healthy and trying to run it back. People were saying, oh, before he got hurt, the Lakers were, okay, so then why you got to go make all these moves then? It doesn't make sense. But once again, if you say it enough time and you be irresponsible about putting the notion out there, then this is how people and fans are going to react. But I do think that KD's the best in the world. I'll put Giannis at number 2, Steph at number 3, a healthy Kawhi at number 4, and then AD is honorable mention to me, and then it just goes 4 people. There's not another player I could think of that I could put in a discussion of best player in the game. So, being that I don't think so, then I just won't do it. One last thing I'll talk about before I wrap it up and get out of here, man, was the Deion Sanders. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about that. Everybody saw what Deion Sanders did. Other sports news, USA women's soccer team, surprise, blown out 3-0 against Sweden today. Their first loss in like 59,000 years since Earth was created. I don't think I've ever watched the women's soccer team lose. I'm trying to figure out when's the last time I watched women's USA soccer and they lost. But the Olympics have started. It's a real eerie feeling and eerie to watch there. It's back to no fans. It's over in Tokyo. So it's going to be no fans at the track events. It's going to be no fans at the basketball games. Right when we're getting back to getting all this stuff, man, they're locking everybody back down again. They're putting masks back on everybody, mask mandates back in LA. I had to wear one all through Fox Sports Radio studios tonight until I got into the main studio. Had to sanitize everything down. Then I could take the mask off, and then I had to sanitize everything and then put my mask back on before I walked out to leave. So I hope it doesn't shut everything down again, because that's what killed my momentum last year. I was on a roll, man. Body, mind, soul, and spirit. Working out, great shape, feeling good. Radio going good. They're bringing me back for Fox Sports West high school football last year. I'm coming off of the Cal Poly season, launching Vesa Network. It was 2018 to 2019. It was butters. It was butters, man. And then 2020 rolled in, and it shut everything down. I am hoping and praying we do not go back to that. It is going to set everything back again and make things worse, man. More football stuff and sports talk coming up, VJs on Sports Like Conduct. In the future, I might take a few days or maybe a few weeks off from radio. I'm not slacking. I'm not doing my job. But I am... I have to get myself prepared for football season. We have a preview show coming up. I have 25 fantasy leagues that I'm doing this year. I have a preview show for high school, college, and the NFL. The NFL one, we're trying to get somewhere where I can do it live in Vegas. Trying to find a spot. Shout out to my man Vegas Benchwarmers, my homeboy Eric out there. Let's get to work, homeboy. Let's get this done and find this, man. Or I got to do it here in LA, and everybody's got to come here to LA if you guys want to be part of it. I'm doing it regardless, but if you want to be part of the best independent NFL preview show, we're going to break every team down, every division down, every position on that team, grades on each thing. When you think about the O-line, D-line, linebacker core, defensive raw, defensive backs, receiver, we're going to break all that shit down over a span of maybe like 3 or 4 shows. Then a few shows where we focus big time on some big teams, big players, big names. You know, Bucks, Aaron Rodgers. What's going to happen with him? Tua Tagovailoa and Miami. Is this the year that things? They got the pieces and they got a quarterback familiar with him and an offense that's suited for him and receivers. Their biggest weaknesses now, their biggest positive spot of the offseason, and now their biggest weapon going into the regular season is our receiving core. What's going to happen with Deshaun Watson? And there's so many storylines. What's going to happen up in Seattle? Was there really a breakup that was imminent at the time between Sierra? Oh, damn, there I go again. I'm sorry. He acts like her so much, so I get used to calling him Sierra. But Russell Wilson, was there really a breakup that was coming? Or was that just posturing and pondering? A lot of football stuff, man. I think the Giants have a chance to win that division. I just don't trust Dallas. Dak is back. Zeke led the league in fumbles. Can he be better? Cam Akers for the Rams blows out his Achilles training a week before training camp. I think a week before training camp, you should just be hydrating, stretching every day, doing some yoga and relaxing and getting your body just calm, ready, stretched out good for the start of training camp. I don't know what the training was. I don't know how hard he was going, but the popping Achilles, and if it was light and it popped, that means no hydration, no proper stretching, and then you're trying to do this strenuous workout, and your body goes, no, sir. Rice Krispies, snap, crackle, pop. And I hate it for them because I'm a Florida State crusher. Michigan is my team, but I've always had a side crush on Florida State. So I've always liked Cam Akers. So big blow to them. Todd Gurley is signed. And somebody's like, bring back Todd Gurley. Too late. He just signed with the Baltimore Ravens the other day. You got all these young quarterbacks in the league, man. You got Justin Fields. You got Trey Lance. You got Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Zach Miller. You got all these Wilson, Zach Wilson. You got all these rookie quarterbacks. Who's going to start first? Who's going to be real? Who's going to be good? Who's going to be middle of the road? Who's going to be great? Who's going to be a superstar? Who's going to be a buzz? Who's going to go and win some championships or get to a few conference championship games? New quarterback faces and new places. You got Carson Wentz that links back up with Frank Wright. He's got a great running back behind him at Jonathan Taylor. You got great receivers. There could be some damage here. You got a top 10 defense with that Colts defense. There could be some real damage here done. We could get the Carson Wentz back. That was MVP bound. Comes out here to LA, scrambling against the powerful Rams and dives in. Gets hit on both sides of his legs from defenders. Tears the ACL. Tears the knee up. Never the same player again. Just really quick, back on Giannis's playoff numbers. I know I had him down, and I did find them. 40 minutes, 32, 13, and 6, 60% from the field goal, and 59% from the free throw line. That was his numbers for the finals. But against Miami, sweep 25, 15, and 8. Against Brooklyn and 7, 32, 13, and 4. And against the Hawks in 6. In Eastern Conference Finals, 26, 10, and 5. And he missed 2 games. This idea that he can't be the face of the league, what a piss poor take from a black man at that. Sorry, not bashing him. I just thought it was a piss poor take, and it had the feeling of I don't want to use the word sellout, but just I I might be blinded or I might be affected by the good old boys club and I just don't know it yet. That's what it felt like. Because I would have never, ever said Giannis couldn't be the face of the league because he's not American. And because we know LeBron James' mama. What the fuck does knowing LeBron James' mama have to do with being the face of the league? Yeah, that was weird and it didn't sit right with me. He needs to come out and actually apologize. Some other numbers, too, I just threw out there. When we're talking about best player, and I'll throw these out and finish these up real quick. But just career-wise, Durant, 27-7-4, 49% from the field goal, 38% from three, 88% from the line. The two-time champ, two-time finals MVP, and then we all know about the All-NBAs and all that. Steph Curry, 25-6-5, 48% from the field, 43% from three, 91% from the free throw line, three-time champ, seven-time All-NBA, two-time All-Star, two-time MVP, two scoring champs, and he changed basketball. Giannis' career after really these numbers don't feel right because of what we just saw, but they haven't been computed in yet, of course. 20, 10, and 5, 53% from the field, 29% from the tray land, 72. People make him feel like he's this horrible free throw shooter. He's not. He's not good, but he's not horrible. 72% from the free throw line. Four-time All-Defensive Player, four-time All-Defensive Team, one-time Defensive Player of the Year, two-time MVP. I mean, the numbers are all there for those three guys, and then, of course, Kawhi Leonard. But Kawhi Leonard's got the knee, so I'm going to keep it with those three right there as far as best in the world. Durant, Steph, and Giannis. It's between those guys. Anybody else they're out of the discussion. I'm trying to think of anything else. I was just talking about really quick about football and just what we're expecting and what we're anticipating. Storylines. Justin Herbert. He's going to have a sophomore slump, or is he going to elevate his game? That's a pretty dope receiving core they got there. Pretty dope receiving core they got going on there. Especially with Hunter Henry at the tight end position. Add some pieces to that bad boy, and it's going to get it's going to get real interesting real fast with a team like the Chargers. Can the Patriots bounce back from their defensive woes of last season? We'll see how all of that goes, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll get into football. I'm done with the NBA and basketball. That is it. The Milwaukee Bucks, or your NBA champion, Giannis, is your finals MVP, and many might say and think the best player on the planet. I'm not going to go that far, but I will tell you it was really good seeing the whole blue-collar thing take effect again, man. I want to thank everybody for listening. VJ's on Sportsmanlike Conduct, man. I'm your boy, VJ Vernon Husky. Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, StreamYard, and everybody over here on my IG, man. I see you when I see you. I'm off for a few weeks. I got some other stuff to handle, but I will be back when football season kicks in, man. Appreciate you guys, man. 100. Stay blessed.
My lawyer eat him up, put bars behind me. I'm glad they didn't stop that car behind me. Shit.
I had 3 felons, gun shooters, no 50 cal, ACP, Bazooka Joe. Don't be stupid though. I get Skrilla, man. I'm for real, man.